time to spill the secrets.
This is Universal Secrets with Tiffany Mack and Kevin Hale.
It's Tuesday night. You know what that means.
All hail Tuesdays. We've got more than that for Universal Secrets. We've got 50 Shades of K. Oh, gosh.
Tiffany Tuesday.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's always a fun night.
It is. This is our kind of, I want to say, it's kind of our escape from the real world, if you will. But one of us, this is kind of the real world too. But I'm here. I'm here with you. I'm hand holding you and wishing you well. It is Universal Secrets on this Tuesday night, September 14th. About halfway through the month already. Mm-hmm. Nine and a half months in. Tiffany, how are you? I
am doing good. I'm doing really good. Yeah.
Well, good.
Thank you. How are you?
I'm fine. Yeah. What's those spectacles on your head?
I told you, I wear these for Bobby. I wear these for Bobby's entertainment because he says I look like a nerd when I have them. So I'm just making sure that I can live up to his expectations. Yes.
Expectations. This is what we do. We try to meet everyone's expectations when we do this show. Streaming live on our Facebook, YouTube, Twitch channels, the video version, the audio courtesy of ERT Radio Shows, our friends there, Ronald, Andy, and Bobby, taking care of us there. Tiffany, we tonight we're gonna get back to our go-to talking some UFO stuff, and this is a cool segment or a show tonight because we've got someone who does interviewing, interviews witnesses and experiencers. How did you meet and get to know NK Kranda?
Oh, gosh. We contacted each other about a year and a half ago, maybe. And we were talking about our children being very special experiencers themselves. And our guest is a very kind, calm person who really has done her due diligence in the area of preservation of experiencer stories and the truth that they experience. So anyways, that's what we talked about to begin with. And it's well overdue that we have her on the show. So.
Well, I did get to see not too long ago, I want to say you and NK were part of a round table or something with Grant. Is that right?
Peter Robbins.
Peter Robbins. Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
Who was our guest last week? Peter, right?
Yep. Yeah.
Shout out to our man Peter Robbins.
Yes, he was fantastic. We had a great time with him as a guest.
We got this. Peter got to cut loose a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, he did.
Which is entertaining. He's a genuinely sweet man.
Yeah, it was wonderful seeing that side of him, like the real person behind that, the public facade that we see, and it was a lot of fun. So thank you, Peter, for joining us last week. It was great.
Speaking of joining us, we have our cast of characters, our friends out there in the chat, watching, hanging with us. Do the honors. Who's hanging with us tonight?
Well, we have.
You got to do it by
first,
the who showed up.
Okay. Genghis showed up first tonight at 7:30. That's good because I was almost thinking maybe I can catch him right at 7:30, but I made it down at 7:35. We've got Sherry, we've got Yuffie, we've got Maria and Charles. Bobby, I wonder if he likes my glasses because I do have a different pair that I could try.
Put them down.
But...
I want to see them on.
Okay, yeah.
For Bobby.
They're cute. They're blue blockers. They were cheap. They were like $15.
You look like a teacher with those on.
Thank you.
And you know what the cool thing about teachers, especially the attractive ones, or just teachers in general, if you do something wrong, they make you do it again. Keep that in mind.
Oh, I thought you were going to go towards the direction of corporal punishment. She's going to start breaking out the whip, people. Yeah. No, it's supposed to be a ruler. We should save that for a little later. Yeah, towards the end of the show,
once
maybe.
The drinks or the... Never mind. All right. So who else we got? Did you do
We got Sherry. We've got Andy. We've got Starseed. Hiya, Starseed.
Starseed. Yeah.
Ron. Let's see. I know that
Mama.
Let's see.
Mama.
Yep. Queen Colleen says hello. And Erica's out there and Natalie are out there. So Yuffie and I had sort of a funny conversation. It was very quick towards the middle of the week. And I was sending a picture of Piper, my dog, who likes to catch turtles. And I always love showing videos of her bringing the turtles to me because nobody really believes it. They're like, she's a turtle hunter, this thing. And she doesn't hurt them. She doesn't harm them. But Yuffie came up with the word turtleganger. Turtle pack.
I'm gonna make you say that 3 times.
I can't even say it once. Okay. Turtle opperganger. And that one was fantastic because I've never heard of a word creatively made in such a way. She also said this. All hashtag Queen Morgan Muffle. Okay. I would love to know if there's an actual word out there that you're addressing, but
let me go back to Piper. I
just thought it was funny. Yes, you have. Yeah.
Pretty dog. Now you say she catches turtles.
Yes.
In the defense of a turtle, how can you really catch a turtle? It's not like it's standing up on its 2 legs and just darting. I mean, this
might be a cryptid turtle. You'd never know.
Well, in your neck of the woods, everything's possible.
Well, when an animal brings you around 75 of one species, I'd say that she's probably very efficient at being a turtle ganger.
Of course, I would probably not be able to catch a turtle. Those things snap.
I mean, occasionally they're not These are not alligator snapping turtles. They're eastern box turtles. So they're the kind that people keep
I'm not
as
eastern box turtle. It's a turtle to me. What's the difference?
Well, there's plenty, but we don't have to go into that on this show.
Yeah. Turtle soup is the end game.
Oh, you just offended someone.
Piper's ears. All right, let's get
catch and release on our property, people.
Let's do this. Our guest tonight, NK Kranda, not to be confused with MK Ultra.
No, or maybe, but I do actually have a whip, Tiffany. If you wanted to borrow it,
I think you've mentioned it before.
I like her already.
I know.
It was a gift from my therapist, believe it or not.
Whoa, hold on! Don't pump it. Your therapist gave you that?
My therapist 100% gave me this as a gift. So, yeah.
That must have been a hell of a story you were sharing with her or him or whatever.
So let me know, Tiff, when you need it.
Yes.
HIPAA rules probably keeps you from sharing that. Right?
I think I mentioned I wanted a bullwhip, like a genuine 12 or 15 footer. And they were like, oh, I have one in the car if you want it. And I'm like, why do you have a whip in your car?
It's a little bizarre.
And then they said during the Antifa riots, when they were pulling people out of cars, they wanted something non-lethal to get people away from their car. I'm like, oh. Creative.
Yeah, that actually is creative.
But they totally bought it at a kink store. Like, it just makes me laugh.
You know, but between
Do you
now
hang
and
it
the end
above the bed?
No, I have it hanging from my my curtain stand so I can look at it and laugh.
I wonder what will it take between now and the end of the show for her to showcase all of her toys.
Oh gosh,
Oh,
I don't know.
what do you mean?
I mean,
what do you define as a toy?
Well, we'll find out together. NK, it's very nice to meet you. Thanks for doing this tonight. This one, Tiffany, I'm looking forward to. I'm always looking forward to someone who can come in and share stories, evidence, definitely things that, people who, it's trust too. I mean, because for someone to share some of this stuff, I mean, I guess there's people out there that just want to, they're maybe 15 minutes, but then there's some people that probably, this is a struggle to get them to, admit something, acknowledge something, and maybe in some ways very therapeutic. So before we get it too deep, give us a little more background with you.
I sent both of y'all my description. No one's going to read it. You're going to
Hold
make
on,
me do it
let me-
myself.
I'll do it for you. Let me put these glasses on.
That's kind of the weak way to put it. I mean, yeah, we could read a script, but to hear it's very authentic,
Who are you? Like, okay, I sent you 3 paragraphs. Like, figure it out.
Figure it out. Okay. All right, guys, never mind. If you want to know, go to the freaking description in the show. It's all there.
I've been documenting and preserving experience or testimony for over 10 years. And I'm also a researcher.
Actually, I totally respect that response from her.
She
made the effort and sent it.
Yeah.
So we could just skip. Yeah, people read the bio in the description. Before we get started, I shared something with Tiffany pre-show, and I want to actually tell Tiffany I'm going to hold off and address it once NK is on. In June, was it June 26th, that infamous UAP report dropped, all 9 pages / really 4 pages. The consensus is we knew that there was not going to be much there. They went back to 2004 with sightings of it, whatever. But what was released yesterday, Congress calls for a permanent UAP office. This is actual legislation. According to this legislation act, Congress is directing the Director of National Intelligence to establish an office within the Office of the Secretary of Defense to carry out on a department-wide basis the mission currently performed by the Unidentified Aerial Phenomenon Task Force as of the date of the enactment of this act. So, and I'll share the link with everybody, but this is something, Tiffany, that is coming to fruition, where there is going to be an ongoing report, a status of what the hell's out there, what the hell's up there. What say you?
I think that their hand is being forced. It's obviously of concern to enough people that it's going to always be in front of our face, whether it's in the public arena, the political arena, the just pop culture. Every channel that you turn on has some form of an alien show or a UFO show or a mystery cryptid show. And I think it's just going to be thrown out there, bits and pieces, for every type of person, no matter what you usually pay attention to. It's going to be out there. You're going to have to discuss it. And it looks like that may be the best way if they're going to gradually release information to the public. It may be a way of them saving grace to some degree, and show that it's a continued project to relate as much as they can, strategically, of course, but also in a way to protect the state. And I think that they'll just give little bits of pieces and just enough to keep the public
It's still a
happy.
security issue,
Right, that's
because
what I'm saying.
it
Yeah, it's as
being
much as they
yeah.
can legally say,
Yeah.
in a state of security. You got to just, I don't know. I think that it's going to be, that's a good thing. I don't think it's a bad thing. I think it's a great thing that they're even doing that.
NK, your take.
I mean, I volunteer. I want that basement office.
Mrs. Mulder.
I want it.
Yeah. And how many people do you think are going to be able to be part of that program? I would love it. Just like NK said. Tell us.
I don't know. I think that they would shove you in some kind of basement or like corner receptacle where you weren't too visible,
Mm-hmm.
And of course, they've only admitted to UAPs, so you can't talk about aliens or experiencers ever.
Thank you. There's the segue I'm going to, because the report on June 26th did not mention anything about experiencers. So let's get into it.
Okay.
I thought when this report dropped, NK, I thought, are we now going to, especially for you, interviewer, investigator, whatever, are sightings or people coming out to say that they've experienced something, witnessed something, going to be on the rise? Not necessarily from, okay, I'm seeing something from June 26th till now. I'm going back to when, here's an example. Friend of the family, retired engineer at Toyota here in Georgetown, Kentucky, Tiffany. He shared with me that he saw something in the late 90s that he can't explain. Totally changed his world. He kept it to himself because of this stigma. He wasn't a UFO guy, but the story that came out on 60 Minutes is, us elderly folks watch 60 Minutes on Sunday night. So for him to see that on a major network, pilots, credible people sharing their stories, it's like he said, I let out a huge sigh. He now feels like he can talk about it without any kind of backlash or, the funny look or, whatever. So NK, with this report, or will people start sharing past stories, past experiences?
It's a big maybe. Just because we've sensationalized the UFO subject, it doesn't mean that the stigma has gone away. So sure, you can probably tell a couple of your friends or maybe your employer that, yeah, I think I may have saw a UFO once. I'm not really sure what it was. But the experiencer side of it, of having prolonged contact with these beings or having some sort of positive or negative experience with them, there's still a ton of stigma behind that. And I haven't had very many people coming forward, but there has been about a 10% increase since Project Blue Book. And I was at UFO MegaCon when that report actually dropped and everyone was all in a tizzy about it.
What did you feel? What were your opinions on the article itself?
I'm not much of a disclosure activist, so it was just really interesting to watch everyone around me be insane. They were so excited for it. And then when it finally dropped, they were extremely disappointed. But Louis Elizondo's lawyer, he was supposed to be our headliner. He actually said, like, I'm not going to go on. I'm not going to go on until I can read this report.
Danny? Is that who it is?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was interesting because to me, when this thing happened to you, it doesn't really matter if other people acknowledge it or if other people believe you. I believe in working through the self and making you believe yourself and your own strong voice. So a disclosure activist, I am not, but I did go head to head with Mr. Louis Elizondo. And I told him that I thought that we weren't ready for disclosure, that we had no plan for it, and to continue pushing for it so hard, it was kind of like Jurassic Park, that just because we can doesn't mean that we should. And I confirmed with a doctor from Rush University in Chicago that the mental health aspect of this, they're completely and utterly unprepared, especially for how many people that are going to come over after disclosure comes and say, like, yes, this is a thing that happened to me. Please help me. So disclosure, I'm kind of on the fence about. I don't know.
I wonder what the difference is between keeping it totally secret to yourself and coming forward and asking for help, though.
There's a word for it. I had a concussion, so give me a minute.
No, you're fine.
It's that validation. There we go.
Mm-hmm.
So
okay.
When you get that validation of telling someone outside yourself, like, hey, this weird thing happened to me, and I'm telling you, oh, well, you're not crazy, or sure, I'll listen, or, man, I don't know what you're talking about, but I'm glad you told me. Thank you so much. It's the validation is really what they're needing. You can tell one person and then be done the rest of your life, which I know a lot of people have. They've dropped their experience and said, I want this to be preserved, but I'm not ever going to talk about it again.
Mm-hmm.
How heavy are we talking about some of these experiences?
And do they go into big detail about their stories with you, or do they typically hold back? Two-part question.
Well, I work alone, so I'm not part of a big organization. I'm very approachable. I'm very just very peer-to-peer, which I think is what helps, is that I'm an experiencer as well, talking to an experiencer. It's not like I've got a MUFON badge on, or they're going to go into this huge study or anything. And sometimes I do delete recordings and I do rip up pages of a notebook because they're just so uncomfortable with any thought of that being transcribed that just for good faith, I won't do it. But
you mentioned MUFON. How did you connect with them?
I was a huge Missing 411 fan, and I wanted to learn more about it. And I noticed that David Paulides did something called a MUFON symposium. And I was like, oh, they're meeting at a diner near me. I wonder if I can go find some people that want to talk about Missing 411. And they didn't. But over time, I gradually got more and more involved. And being a MUFON secretary, I was like the most overqualified secretary ever. And it was like this weird open mic night where people would come to share these. Oh God, people are yelling questions at me in the chat.
I'll get
we'll share. Yeah.
So it's like they're telling these horrible traumatic experiences, and then there'd be 20 questions from around the room about how that wasn't plausible or that wasn't real or they were wrong, and it pissed me off. So I would stay late after every meeting and I would make sure and I would talk to them, and gradually that's the work that I just got into.
I'm curious, at these like UFO rally or symposiums, are there anti that show up to these rallies? That's the thing now. Anything that
debunkers.
You go, anything that you go and you're pro this, the anti people show up and
really everybody wants their 5 minutes of fame, and if you go up to a mic and say I don't believe you or you're wrong, that's how you get it.
Oh. Jeez. Even in the UFO field, Geez.
Well, I did have an experience that relates to this week.
You want to go there?
Yeah, I'll go.
It's your floor is yours.
So, I've only come out in about the past year about my experiences, and NK, I'm sure that you're probably going to have a story or 500, and I know that you do. So my husband got an email this week from somebody from his daughter's school, and the concern was demonic possession. And then they went in to describe how there's no such thing as aliens or alien hybridization program involving humans and extraterrestrials, and that apparently there's some other issues going on, namely demonic possession. So this is something that I've not really had to deal with like this. Apparently, the person the email was spoofed to include the parent's name, our child's name, the assistant principal's name, and all of that. And this was not a real person.
So this was not
So,
a legit
no,
concern, or
no, it was not
really?
it was
I didn't know that part.
having all of those pieces of information that do involve my life and my lifestyle, that all of those things combined in one fake email from a real person at our daughter's school. And so this is bizarre to me. And I think that a lot of people are probably going to experience some more of this type of situation. Even though you're not seeking some kind of financial gain from coming out, even putting yourself out there with these stories, there is still a stigma. And then, and it's not like I am non-religious. I am not necessarily religious. I'm spiritual. Mm-hmm. And I think that is a difference that I've changed throughout the years. But I think that people are starting to really get scared. For a long time, we were wondering what the Vatican would say if we came out and said, oh my God, there's extraterrestrials. And you know what they said? We would accept them. Okay. So NK, tell us a little bit about the benefit for these people to tell, and then let us know if you've seen any kind of negative aspect or views from release of information.
I guess I can start with the negative. Is first of all, I don't share my records or anything else. So this was from them trying to talk to their family or their bosses or whatever. One person lost their legal rights and they had to go to court because their family was trying to prove that they were legally insane. People have lost employment. They've lost custody of their kids. It's a very serious matter to come forward. So most people actually don't come forward until a child or someone in their life is at risk, because as an experiencer mom, I know I can go through anything and I can shut my mouth if it means, keeping my kids in school or doing whatever. So once it's a child that starts suffering, or a best friend that starts suffering, or someone else in their family, that's when they tend to come forward and talk about it and start seeking out answers and what they should do. And as far as the positives, whenever I interview anybody, I always make sure that they're honored, valued, respected, and heard. It doesn't matter if they're completely and utterly the opposite of me, or if I agree with their experience or not. That really doesn't play a role in it. I'm here to honor you in the fact that you're telling your story. I want you to feel valued and respected and believed. And if any time that doesn't happen, I encourage them to tell me to stop and to move away from that subject, or we can stop the interview at any time. So I very much keep the control in their ball field. What's up, sweetie?
Can I get in the interview?
Sure. Come here.
Kevin, how many times have you heard that? Oh,
this is
goodness.
This is my youngest.
What's her name?
Lumi.
Huh? It's a Lily?
Lumi. Lumi.
Lumi. Oh, that's beautiful. That's a beautiful name.
I'm gonna say she probably can't hear us, right? She can't hear us. Yeah.
She can't hear us.
Yeah, she was at the UFO MegaCon in Laughlin, and she was running up and down the aisles and talking to everybody. And yeah, she was real popular.
Did she love it?
She did. She actually turned 7 years old while she was there, and I had the crowd sing her happy birthday.
Oh, I remember seeing that.
Oh, she says you're pretty.
Oh, I tell her she's beautiful too.
She says you're beautiful.
Oh.
Actually, yours and mine, when her hair is really blonde, yours and my daughter's look so similar.
I know. Isn't it crazy?
Love you.
You can bring me into this conversation anytime, Tiffany.
Bye.
Do you know who else? Has a daughter that looks almost identical to mine?
Oh, you do?
No. Yeah. Debbie Hewins.
Oh.
Debbie Stauber Hewins. Her daughter looks identical to my daughter. So it's crazy.
Yeah.
There's a lot of similarities. So, but yeah, so I mean, for the most part, would you say that your job is something that you feel that you're meant to do? This was in the plans for you?
The universe certainly doesn't let me stop doing it.
Tell us about that.
So, being a little girl, you never imagine yourself to be an experiencer, researcher, and preservationist. But the UFO community is just so toxic that there are several times where I throw my hands up in the air and I'm like, I'm done. I'm done. I'm done. I'm not doing this anymore. This is stupid. I'm done. And then someone will come up to me at a grocery store or a furniture store while I'm buying a couch, or while I'm sunbathing at a nude beach, and they'll start talking to me about experiences or near-death experiences or aliens. And I'm just like, how do you know? It's not like I wear UFO t-shirts or anything like that. I'd like to think I look fairly normal. But it's something that will follow me, like to the point where the universe, I feel like it's laughing at me. Like, you thought you could get away.
Ha 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 ha.
Not even at a nudist beach.
Yeah, in Austin, there's something called Hippie Hollow, and it's like a portion of Canyon Lake where it's clothing optional. So even there, the universe can find you.
Kevin, get your ticket tomorrow for next summer.
Okay, I'll definitely keep that in mind.
Not with me. You're gonna have to find. You're gonna have to find somebody else to hound.
Hound. I've totally lost my train of thought here. Go, Tiffany.
We had a question in here for you from Ron.
Okay.
Let's see if I can put it up. What would be your validation for you besides what you've experienced? I guess for yourself, what would be validating?
For me, what's validating is that I can tell someone my experience or they can tell me theirs, and I'm not going to be immediately put down. Because I had one of my very first experiences when I was 7 or 8 years old. And I tried to tell my mom about it, and I was so excited. I almost drop kicked her door down. And she just immediately told me, like, no, honey, whatever. Like, I'm busy right now. I'm talking to someone. So it was just extremely disappointing. And I know that that's happened to a lot of people, where especially the fear factor, people won't believe it because they're afraid of it, and they'll immediately start giving you logical reasons of why you're wrong. But for me, it's extremely validating that these people have the strength to keep going. They have the strength to keep surviving. I've heard some really horrifying, traumatic stories, and I'm like, how are you still alive? How do you do the thing? And then another question I ask is, if you could stop all of your activity today, would you? And I've only had 1 or 2 yeses over so many years. And I'm extremely impressed and validated that all of these people, they wanted to keep going. They wanted to continue to be part of their life because it's changed them as a person. They feel it's changed them for the better. They felt that it opened their eyes, and they want to help other people. So it's one of those, it's one of those, it gives me faith in the human race type of things. It gives me energy to keep going, when I have at the UFO people. So.
Well, we had another question in here, and it was regarding a conversation earlier. Rodrigo wants to know, if there are hearings, who would NK like to see there? I guess during the disclosure.
Probably Peter Robbins and Richard Dolan.
Richard has spoken before, right?
He has spoken before, but he likes to think himself like the king of it. You have to kiss his ring. Just Richard. And then Peter has a lot of good evidence as well. I'd love to see some more of the MUFON archives actually open for their experience or researcher plan. It's just
are they hidden? You can't access a lot of them.
So the experience or research team does not share their testimony, which I understand a lot of it is confidential, but so many of these different organizations have experience or testimony and stories and data, and then they don't share with each other. So it gets kind of frustrating. Like, I wish that we would publish something every year, or at least share information with each other, so that we weren't backtracking or, making incorrect assumptions. Like, I would love to have more data. It would do nothing but help people.
I guess I can understand the sort of the secrecy aspect that most experiencers would prefer to have. But it is strange that they don't have a real database of experiences, which I thought that they did. So shows you how much I know.
Yeah.
Interesting.
My AT&T is not cooperating with me tonight.
Oh.
Actually, it didn't cooperate with me during my workday either. So,
Well,
pardon
that's
me.
not good. Yeah.
Sure.
You should light another candle about it.
Why don't you let her in on your secret?
What secret is that?
I don't know why you have all those creepy candles.
Creepy? I don't know. It started actually. I went back and looked at one of our earlier shows, and I didn't have them on, and then and I don't think I think I had them on, but I didn't realize they were like there when we did the show or started the show, and then people started commenting, and then they kind of took on its own little story. So I just had them on ever since. So
Now you have to.
now I have to.
You've been bullied into it.
Not that tough. I succumb to pressure. So where we at? Going back, to the UAP report, do you think, it's healthy?
Uh-oh.
Look at this. Look at this. Rodrigo says they took Kev. You bastards.
He must be silenced.
He must be, right? Okay, so we'll go ahead and ask another question while he's deciding on whether he wants to participate this evening. So, Nikita, in general terms, what aspects of experiencer stories grabs your attention at the onset?
I really love multi-phenomena experiencers where they've got the paranormal and cryptids and UFOs, or they've been experiencing things ever since childhood. Those are some of the most fun for me, especially the multi-phenomena ones, because you just get to bring all of it in, and they get to decide whether those things are related or if they're just kind of a one-off. So that's the most fun for me.
That's a good thought. So how often do you usually see multi-phenomenon stories or cases?
It's a majority. A majority of them have multi-phenomena, and it's either paranormal, UFOs and experiences, or some people have like PK manifestations like my daughter. But the multi-phenomena, it delights me because ufology hates to work with like Bigfoot and the ghost people and other things like that. And I'm like, oh, it's all got common threads. Suck it.
Yeah, you know what? You're absolutely right. And I had no idea anything about cryptids or Bigfoot before I started dating Brent. No clue. Didn't know that they existed. I just thought it was, spooky bedtime story stuff. But the more that I'm involved with other people and like you said, the multi-experiencers, the more I see that Bigfoot that's a real thing. We've had a few people on to discuss it, and it's still very, it's shocking to me, and it's amazing to know that there are these massive beings who just live on the outskirts. It's sort of cool.
Yeah.
So, I don't think I've ever heard the beginning of your story. What actually got you into what were your experiences? You call yourself an experiencer. What is something that you have experienced in your short years?
My short years.
You look like you're about 20, which is wonderful.
I wish. No, I don't. I didn't like my 20s. The paranormal, definitely. Lots of voices, lots of touching, lots of things being moved. I do think I have seen a couple of UFOs. I do think that I have had contact with extraterrestrials at some point. I have seen a cryptid. I've went on my own missing 411 investigation. I went to Tennessee last year over Christmas, and lots of noises and weird stuff going on in the woods. Lots of like our technology was messing up, and we think that we actually may have walked through some kind of dimensional portal, because the way up should have been exactly the same going down as it was up. You just can't go any other way. It's too steep and too rocky. There's only one path, and the way down looked completely different. And we had taken pictures, and these it was some kind of hyacinth or hydrangea had grown over the path in like a perfect circle. I'm like, do we really have to walk through that? I don't want to.
Interesting. The whole the environment gave you the creeps though.
Oh yeah, that particular environment, and it was where Dennis Martin went missing in the Great Smoky Mountains. It was just capital C creepy. I did not like it. But then when I went to other parts of the park, like that had waterfalls and everything, it had a much calmer, better feel. So whatever happened there, it was not good.
You know, Bigfoots tend to walk the waterways, is what I've been told. So I wonder if you were being watched by something more than somebody peeking out of a portal.
I don't know. I heard like a really loud scream, and it was just very deep and rumbly, like a person that I don't think a person could make that noise. And if you read the Dennis Martin case, there was another family that was picnicking nearby Spence Field, and they saw something like screaming as it was running, and it was running really, really fast. And it had something over its shoulder that looked like it had a red shirt on. And that fit Dennis's description. So it could have been a wild man or a Bigfoot, because it was making a beeline right towards the limestone caves of the park. So it does make sense to me. Like, I like Bigfoot. I like the Bigfoot stories. We get a lot of dogmen down here in Texas.
Oh, really? Yeah, that's
dogman
right.
stories.
Yeah. I think I'd be more intimidated by the dog man than a Bigfoot at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've heard a lot of their stories. Is there any specific type of experience that you've had that you think that you can share with your children? We talk a lot about experiencers and how it sort of gets passed down to our children. How do you think you would prepare your children for this?
A saying in our household is, just because something's weird, it doesn't mean that you're weird. So my children see a lot of shadows. We have a lot of interaction with like things moving and strange noises. And they've also had prophetic dreams before. And, they'll come to me and they'll say, Mommy, this happened, or I just saw a shadow. And we'll be like, yep, those are our friends. Don't worry about it. So in reality, like we've already have, I just, it's something I started when they were very young, because even my daughter, when she was 9 months old, how they just babble so animatedly and so excitedly. And my daughter would only do it to people or dogs. So when we would put her in her crib, she would cry and then go to sleep. There was no like sing-songy anything. So one day she was standing up and holding the edge of her crib, and she was just babbling animatedly with the appropriate like pauses and laughter and giggling of a person being in the room with her. And I thought that my husband was down there. I'm like, what is going on? And she was just staring at the rocking chair, and it was empty. And she did it for 45 minutes. I was listening to her on the baby monitor the whole time, and she would not nap. And I'm like, well, I guess you had a great conversation with whoever dropped by.
That's awesome. Yes, amazing experience. And I've heard that one before, and it's very relatable, but it shows you how early some of these experiences begin in our children.
Yeah.
Why do you think it is that a lot of people start to believe less in the phenomenon, even though they had experiences as children?
Well, it is kind of part of my research demographics, is that 0 to 6 years old, they're much closer to the universe and to the source and where they came from, whether you believe it to be God or something else. They just have a lot less to deal with. They don't have to go to work. Their brains are still developing. They still have all of those neurons that they have that, as you get older, you lose more. But when you're 6-year-old, you have as many as you're going to have, and they're all active. So they're just really fantastic to talk to. They see so many things. And then we move into the 12 to 15, that's when they go through puberty, and that's when things start really picking up. So I always warn people that have sensitive youngins. I'm like, oh, okay, well, around puberty, this is going to get a lot worse. You should probably start preparing them now, preparing yourself to deal with it. And then once we get to 18 to 65, we've been conditioned by our parents at school and the church that these things are not real. It's fairy tale, and it's a waste of time. You need to concentrate on college and career and your family and just all of those day-to-day things. Even in the morning, I could have a dream, or I could have an experience, but in the end, it's like, I don't know where my shoes are, and I got 2 girls to get to school on time. I don't have time to think about this right now. I will come back to it later. So that's usually the biggest range of skeptics for me, is like they're either young adults or mid adults that just don't believe any of this stuff is happening. And then I get to 65 and over, and once again, they're closer to the universal source, because either they're going to die soon or they've retired. They just don't have as much going on. And yeah, they're fantastic. I love doing deathbed preservations, especially for the military, because they're dying. They don't care anymore. They're going to talk about whatever they're going to talk about.
Amen. That's right.
Yeah. It's a good time.
I'm not sure if I think that we mentioned this, that I sort of had a moment with my grandfather before he passed a few years ago. And I did share that I'd been experiencing visitations from different beings, and the comment, and I'll remember this till the day I die. I was like, "Granddaddy, do you think I'm crazy?" And he's like, I would have to say yes. And it's like, at first I'm like, "Oh my God, my grandfather called me crazy." He goes, "Listen to me. I would have to say yes." And so I'll never forget, I would have to say that you're crazy, because that's what he's been informed to do. And that's what he'd been informed to say for so many years during his military career, and it's like being able to hear him say that for like the fourth and fifth time in a row. It's like, oh, now I get it. You would have to say it no matter what. So,
yeah.
You
mentioned you have a whole bunch of his drawings and stuff still, right?
I have all of his papers. Yeah, I have everything. Tomorrow, the FBI will probably come in and yank
I don't
it.
know. I'm kind of excited for when you go down that rabbit hole of all of his papers and his drawings and his stories and
stories. Yeah, he'd written over 1,000 short stories and poems. So there's a lot of fun gems in there. Very humorous. He was a very humorous guy. So we have another question. Oh my gosh.
Sorry, ladies.
They beamed you back.
It's all, it's just like 6 degrees of Tiffany Mac. Anything that goes wrong with goes wrong. Something. This never happens. I never have really. I don't think I really have ever had any internet between you two.
Yeah, experiencers tend to disrupt all kinds of technology. I had to run a high-speed cable, a physical cable to my computer, because even with the most expensive Wi-Fi and everything else, I just could not podcast or stream or anything. And the more anxious I would get, the worse it got. So yeah, RIP to all my laptops and all my recorders and everything from those experiencers.
Well, I've said, and again, my apologies for tonight. You ladies are wired differently. You experiencers totally wired differently.
Did you know that's not a cliche? That's actually true.
No, I say that with due respect, because I'm not wired like you guys are. You ladies are. I'm not an experiencer. I'm just an enthusiast. No research, nothing, to my name, credit to that. I just co-host a show with an experiencer. And, Tiffany will be doing shows, and it will not be, at this point, I'm disappointed when I don't see an orb go flying over her shoulder. And, but yeah, it's fair to say to you, NK, and I've said this to Tiffany and our viewers, that she and I could be sitting together, standing outside on a beautiful night, looking up at the stars. She sees something and I won't.
So if you actually look into the history of trauma and trauma-related therapies, this is a scientific fact, that when a person experiences trauma or a jarring experience, your brain's only job is to keep you safe. So it will rewire the neurons in your brain to avoid that memory and avoid that area, because it gives you anxiety. It hurts. Its only job is like, okay, this isn't safe. We're going to re-divert everything away from that. And I like to think of it as kind of like rewiring a radio, so we can start picking up different channels and start hear different things and to start to see different things, and not just the knowledge that you have, as a thinking intellectual person of like, oh, I've had this experience, maybe I should be more open to it now. It literally rewires your brain. And we know so little about the brain that it could be activating some sort of junk DNA, or we could be, I know somebody told me it was like part of a hybridization program or something. I don't remember, but there's just so many different things that it could be doing. but I do know for a fact that we do get rewired. And I thought that was fascinating.
Oh, interesting.
Hmm.
Kevin, there's your scientific proof.
I know. Ask and I shall receive.
I know. Yeah.
Now, at a certain point, NK, because Tiffany has kind of alluded to this, that this journey that we're on together with this show and just being friends for 5+ years, I've heard her stories, and I believe in her. Is it eventually? I mean, is this maybe my way of them testing the waters? Is he worthy of our presence? Can he handle it? That kind of, I don't know. Because at the end of the day, I do want to experience something. I just haven't. And it's not that I'm not open. Tiffany, you know me, I'm very open to it. Now, I've had some night experiences where I think I had like a visitor, or it was like so
you've had
me,
the whole experience with Reese at the bottom of your bed, and it wasn't Reese.
but I don't know if that's per se alien, or I think there's something here, because I literally feel something.
Have you ever experienced anything you couldn't explain?
Yeah, I mean,
okay. Welcome to our club. We have T-shirts. You're an experiencer.
Welcome to the jungle.
We've got fun and games.
We got fun and games.
Oh, geez, now. Okay. No, I can't. So Steve Baum wants to know, what do you say to someone that doesn't think that they are an experiencer, but upon looking back have had lots of strangeness in their life? So that's pretty much the answer.
Piggybacking.
Yeah, piggybacking that.
Yeah. It's really interesting. I don't know if you guys have ever watched SpongeBob with your kids, but there's this episode where they're trying to teach a villain how to be a good guy. So Patrick, the starfish thing, drops his wallet, and the villain comes over and he goes, "Oh, sir, I believe you've dropped your wallet." And he goes, "No, that's not mine." He goes, "This is your ID. Your name is Patrick Starr. Yep. You live at this address. Yep. This is your club card. Yep. Then I believe it's your wallet." "No, it's not mine."
What the heck?
So to me, that's very much how it is talking to some people. I try to tell them like gently, like, from what you're telling me, you're an experiencer. No. And they have all these reasons for why they're not. But I think that there's just high profile people out there like Whitley Strieber that's put out this idea of what an experiencer is and what you have to be in order to be an experiencer. And it's stuff like that I can't compete with. Whitley Strieber is just too ingrained in the history of this. So that's what I've boiled it down to is, have you ever seen something or experienced something you couldn't explain? Then that puts you into our experiencer block. And then we can go further. So, okay, well, what kind of stuff? What couldn't you explain? And sometimes they get really snappy, almost pissed. Like, well, of course it can be explained. And I'm like, okay.
Well, I am a science guy, and I'm not a big fan of belief and faith. I need tangible evidence. So in the middle of the night, when I know it's not my dog, who is a little Yorkie, so I know how it feels like he's walking on the end of my bed, but I know he's not there. But I don't know. I am open-minded. I mean, activating junk DNA? Huh.
That's
getting
going
away from myself.
Sorry.
But anyways, I guess at the end of the day, until something looks me dead in the eye, high fives me in the middle of the night, something, that's when I'm 100%. As far as my experience, see, the thing is, Tiffany shares her experiences, her stories. I 100% believe that she is experiencing something. It just hasn't happened to me. Now, me not believing something that I've quote unquote experienced doesn't mean that I don't believe in alien life.
Okay, Nikita, do you have that whip?
Yeah, he's kind of going around in circles. He's a little broken.
I do feel like I am, but
Well, let's so Kevin, here's the intention that we're going to set for Kevin. NK, join in. Tonight, I want you to meditate before you go to bed, and
it's not possible.
you can't do it.
Well,
You cannot think about it.
I have insomnia, so I take a pill to go to sleep. So meditating,
gosh. You would be awake for days, I guess.
Well, I wouldn't. If I meditate, I don't know. I would think my Ambien would kind of
take over anyway.
Yeah.
Ooh, Ambien is actually a catalyst for some experiences because it's like some kind of hypnotic drug that interferes with the brain.
Me. If you take Ambien as directed, it works. But when you don't take it as directed, like I do on occasion, I'll take it and somehow, some way, I'm still interacting or online or something. And then the Ambien kicks in.
Yeah.
I'm physically still performing, doing things, but I've blacked out.
Yeah.
Kevin.
You can always invite them to come and, communicate with you. Like, hey, when I'm about to wake up in the morning, those early stages of, the late stages of sleep where you're kind of half awake, but you're not really up yet. That's a good time for them to come and, talk to you or say, hey, could you please come and touch me? Or do you want to write something down? Whatever would be believable for you. You can start inviting those things in. Just be careful that you keep your boundaries.
When you say boundaries, when you say boundaries, what's a good intention for him? Because you don't want just any random being popping in and
I'll take my chances.
Oh, you will?
Oh, Jesus, that's what you say now.
I mean, you got to go all the way or don't go at all, right? I mean,
not everything out there is nice.
Well, okay, but I guess at the same time too, I can't be picky, right? Because I do want to experience something where I know I'll wake the F up in the morning and like, damn it, I had an encounter, Now if they show up with, NK's toy there, I'm gonna be a little nervous, but I don't know. I'm open, So Tiffany, again, I've alluded this many times is that this road we're on. When is some of your, some of that going to rub off on me?
Maybe a contact at the compound.
Maybe. I'm game.
Yeah. I invited Nikita, but she says it's too far.
I live in Texas. It's a bit of a jaunt.
It is. You're right. It is.
Texas hot spots there?
Oh yeah. There's one nearby, Enchanted Rock. It's like this huge multi-dimensional vortex thing. And there's science behind granite holding more energy and more electricity and things like that. It's also a varied amount of different Native American tribes had lived there, and there have been battles and deaths there. So I've had a couple of experiences when I was there, and so have other people. So that's one that's close by. I was talking to what's the cryptid dude that wears like the black leather cowboy hat?
Which one? Lyle?
Or Ken?
Or Ken.
I met Ken. Yes, he was so nice. He moderated our Q&A. He told me that Converse, the town that I live in, actually has a werewolf. There's stories of a werewolf out here in Converse. I was like, that's so interesting. Yeah, he wouldn't give me his hat. I tried, you guys.
I've always fallen for a guy in a good hat. Good hats. They have I will say very unique. And I really wonder what Ken's is made of.
I don't know.
Don't most of them have like lack of hair?
Oh, interesting.
Not calling anybody out. And it's okay if you don't have it, but
Kevin, just because you have a great head of hair,
I still do.
I know, yeah. And it's dark too.
Into this
I think
decade of
Rodrigo's
life.
got a point. He says he's going to start a new conference. I'm going to call it Contact and Dessert. Like there's a 10 times better value.
He
of
said
showing
dessert,
up.
did he?
Yeah, like
And a dessert.
have
Yeah.
some cheesecake. Will you come talk at us for a while? I'd be like, absolutely.
Give
me
my
the
man
cheesecake.
Rodrigo a break.
Aw.
You know what? Maybe he did mean dessert.
Yeah.
Contact and a pie? Smoke and a pancake?
I
What
would
was
show
that
up.
show? What was that? Damn it. Austin Powers, right?
Oh, I
Smoking a
love
pancake.
Austin Powers.
Gold member.
That's so
Gold,
funny.
yeah. Smoking
That's hilarious.
a-
It's been a long day, guys. Oh my God. My brain is at its wit's end. And I really do feel like the past few days have been very draining. And I'm thinking it's more like a psychic drain more than anything else. And I don't know.
Any
Doesn't seem
experiences in the last few days?
Yeah, and I'm
Huh?
just exhausted. Nikita, have you noticed any like sort of seasonal experiences with people, whether they're more active around the equinox or if they're more active during different times of the month? Have you had any relation with that information?
Yeah, things pick up around Halloween.
Always?
Yeah, that's pretty common. A couple weeks or a month before Halloween, because they call it that's when the veil is the most transparent and the most thin is on Halloween. So I always get to pick up experiencers in September and October.
Interesting.
The Winter Equinox, which I think is December 21st or 22nd. That
23rd, it's my birthday.
yeah,
The
so
fall equinox, yeah.
that one too. When the day starts becoming longer than the night. You know,
Mhm.
so when the night is longer than the day, we start having a lot more experiences. And then when the day is becoming longer than the night. So I've noticed those two probably the most. If I was going to say this time of year, I'm going to be busy and I can't be traveling.
Yeah.
So those sightings that happen around in that third or fourth week in December are not alien. They're really a fat guy in a red suit.
Maybe. You never know. He is considered an elf.
Oh, interesting.
We cover
A
all the
jolly old
bases
elf.
here.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it has been really draining. I would call it a mass hallucination, except that nobody talked to each other before this happened, and I didn't post it online. I just got a really creepy feeling where I just felt that something was off, kind of like something was outside and it was going to try and come in. So I asked my roommate and I said, do you feel okay? Like, is everything all right now? And he's like, no, it feels awful, honestly. He's like, all the hairs are up on the back of my neck. I can't stand it. So we went around and secured the house, and it just continued to bother me so much that I texted other people, other experiencers, other family members. I said, hey, how are you feeling? And that was it. And they were just like, oh my God, NK, awful, awful. It just feels so awful right now. I feel so on edge. And we, we've contacted over 21 people, and they all felt exactly the same way. So,
to me, you experiencers, your spider senses should go off at the same time. To me, I would totally buy that.
So look at this. Maria said the past couple of weeks have been horrible. Agreed.
Yeah.
And then
because why? What do you think? What's up?
Well, Yuffie says, remember, the human body is a factory and produces hormones that affect the mysteries in the mind, body, perhaps spirits, emotions. It's a good way to put it. Yeah. So maybe I'm not so crazy after all. Huh?
All right, go back. Well, why do you think things are going off? What are you sensing?
I don't know. I don't know. Do you feel like maybe there's something monumental besides just the politics of what's going on, NK?
I don't know. Some people are so sensitive that I was getting all these reports and that something awful was going to happen before the Capitol raid.
Yeah.
Way before the Capitol raid. They said, I have this really awful feeling that something is coming. And then that's been starting up again. And I did some research to see like, okay, well, what could be going on that's setting you guys off? And I found out that they're going to have a protest at the Capitol on the 18th.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I expect that to be probably not to digress, but that on the 18th, Saturday, this visit this tour they're doing, which they still call it a fucking tour. But anyways, it's supposed to be in response to people who were in custody that were, part of the, what was it, January 6th, whatever.
And to play devil's advocate for events that are not announced and stuff that we don't just feel bad about automatically. I have experiencers that can predict mass shootings where they were extremely antsy. There was one a couple of years ago, San Bernardino County, where the couple came in and they killed almost a dozen people. The one that happened in New Zealand, the one that happened in Las Vegas. I just had these people kind of going off like, yep, I have that feeling something bad's going to happen. And I'm like, please don't be a mass shooting. So some of them go off right at that point. This time, a lot of people went off. So I'm not looking forward to whatever it is. It doesn't feel good.
Whenever we, when I say we as in the world, veer off in one extreme direction, usually what happens is that something, the opposite, total opposite, brings people back to the center. We are at extreme ends right now. We, a post on social media can trigger someone.
It's happening a lot and much more frequently. People's levels of emotion are running high all over the place, all over the world right now. This is from Yuffie. Have you experienced remote viewing?
Good question.
I haven't done it on purpose, but I have done it, and I wasn't in control of it.
How so? Can you elaborate?
Someone
like you were with someone and they directed, or how did
this has happened with other experiences as well. It wasn't a dream. It was just where I was laying in bed and all of a sudden I could hear a TV, I could hear my friend's voice, and I could hear his daughter's voice. So it's like I zapped into his apartment for like 20 or 30 seconds, and then I came back and I was like, what the hell happened? And I messaged him and I said, hey, what are you doing right now? I was like, oh, me and the girls just watching TV. And I'm like, I know, I was there.
Wow. What was the connection though? Can you, without going into detail, is he another experiencer as well? Or was there a rhyme and reason, do you think?
He was an experiencer, but I have no idea why my consciousness decided to visit that particular person at that particular time. So maybe it's just something that happens when I'm under a lot of stress or when the moon is in the right phase. Somebody actually mentioned sunspot activity and solar flares. That is also an indication of increased human aggression and of just really not feeling well.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
I've heard
because our brains are nothing but neurons and electricity. So when you have that much electromagnetic force coming at us, it just kind of addles you. But I think it's more than that.
Speaking about that, Yuffie's on a roll tonight. Thank you so much, Yuffie, and everybody listening. Do you have knowledge, experience of entities that come from electrical rainstorms?
I'm sorry. She wanted me to show you this. I'm going to answer the question.
Okay, yes.
My daughter said the paranormal is every day.
That is fantastic.
Love it.
And
tell her she is a fantastic artist, and that was the best work that I've seen on the fly in a long time.
Do you say Lumi? Is that?
Yeah, Lumi drew it.
Is she an experiencer?
I wrote it for reals on here.
I wrote it for reals. Yeah, she is.
Get in the picture. If you're going to talk, get your face in.
2021.
They love your picture. And she is.
Beautiful.
She's seen ghosts, and she's seen the children with black eyes. What else have you seen, Lumi?
Whoa, let's see there. Children with black eyes. She's literally seen that.
Oh, what was it? I've seen like a big green reaper with like a little owl on its shoulder.
A big green reaper. She also used to see a little girl in the front yard. So I would take her to school around 6 a.m. every morning. And sometimes I would leave her in the car while the car was running and run back in and grab my purse or something. So there would always be a little girl standing next door on the lawn watching us.
Oh
And
my God.
I don't live next to any kids. That house is vacant, and they're sure not going to be playing outside when it's 6 a.m. So
Wow, that's amazing.
That'd be my luck, Tiffany. That
thank you
experience
for
I
the
have
picture.
in the middle of the night.
That I also see like some ghost butterflies, and can I get my picture down for it?
That's right.
Ghost butterflies.
Did she my daughter used to have not really ghost butterflies, but we called them the little things, and they were little orbs that floated around. So maybe that's what she was
I wrote
saying.
it down right here.
This one?
Yeah.
She says they look like this.
Wow, that's
And
phenomenal.
one thing that I was afraid of.
Oh,
Thank you for allowing my child to hijack your show.
What's the scary one that she was afraid of? Can you show
Which
me
one's
that a
the
little bit
scary
better?
one? Oh, the Reaper.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see
She's
that
also
one.
drawn the Grim Reaper a lot.
Yes. Does it have a spade-shaped head?
Yeah.
Interesting. My daughter just drew one of those today.
Are you shitting me?
I swear I'll show it to you. I will post it because
What's going on here?
she just drew something like that with a spade-shaped head today in the
See, that
car
would
when
be
I
my
picked her
luck,
up.
Tiffany, in the middle of the night when I'm expecting, I want to have an experiencer. I mean, like, oh shit, the Grim Reaper.
Yeah, the Grim Reaper's here.
All
Yeah.
right.
The Grim Reaper.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
All right. I love you.
Wait a minute. I thought the Grim Reaper was like bad news.
Well, yeah, I was the last person that you're supposed to see, right?
I know, but I'm not doubting your daughter, but she said she saw the Grim Reaper.
I'm gonna
Black-eyed
go yell at her and grab the paper.
Oh, go ahead.
I have watched Dead Like Me before. I have. Why?
Wait, let's go back. She saw the black-eyed children.
Yep.
In what way? How did she see them? Like in a visitation of the night, or what are we talking about?
She's just seen them. She said, sometimes kids, they have black eyes and they won't talk to me. That's a normal thing for a 6-year-old to say.
Yeah.
And then she accurately described they had someone there that was burning DVDs of UFO MegaCon Laughlin. So I was standing there ordering a DVD of my presentation because you get one for free. And he looked at her, and she's wearing a dress that's got little aliens on it and little UFOs abducting pieces of pizza. It's adorable. And he started talking to her, and she said, "Oh, did you know that you have a ghost standing over there?" And she accurately described his wife that had died years previously.
Holy hell.
And he showed us a picture of her, and she's like,
This your daughter?
Yeah, she's just hanging out. And he
So
almost cried.
Is this a generational thing? Because you mentioned earlier, NK, you shared an experience with your mother and she dismissed it. So in the past, has there been anybody in your family who's had these experiences?
Yeah. In my family, like Tiffany's, it is multi-generational. And then I think that your internet cut out when we talked about this, but the demographic of 0 to 6 years old, they're just closer. They're closer to the source of the universe, whether it's God or whatever you believe. And they have so much less to deal with than adults do as far as working and time management. And all of their neurons in their brain, as many neurons as they're going to have at 6 years old, is active. So they can see all kinds of stuff. Wow. It's a very active demographic, and they're some of my favorite to talk to.
And the truth is, at least in my opinion, with my experience with my kids, I've got grandsons who are at that age. They're at that. Yeah, the imagination can run wild a little bit, but to talk about something like that,
yeah, and
that's not your go-to.
We don't have cable, so it's not like I'm watching X-Files or horror movies all the time. I don't know where she gets this stuff.
But, yeah, something that's not influencing her. So.
Yeah.
Tiffany, do you have any luck?
She's trying to locate it right now. So we'll see if she gets it.
I did use one of Maddie's drawings for my presentation where...
If anything, it's in here. I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay, shh, thank you.
She can come in.
Do you want to say hi?
Yeah, please. Who is this? Maddie,
this is Maddie.
Hey.
Here.
Hi.
Hi, Mad Mac.
Hi, Maddie.
Remember
Hi.
Nikita?
Remember we talked on the phone that one time?
Kind of, maybe.
And you showed me the drawing of you when you were little on the table?
Yeah.
Yeah. I still have it.
Oh, nice.
You
Maddie,
look
what are you
just like
still
my
doing
daughter.
awake? Isn't it school night?
Yes, it is. What are you looking for?
One of the ones that you did today.
I mean, this clearly this is the most unscripted show ever.
Yes, where the Rugrats go wild.
I don't even remember what you're trying to
Why do I need to watch Area Q? What's Area Q?
I like how Tiffany can't hear me. NK, you're one of the first guests that come on and just go straight to the comments and starts reading them.
They're interesting and it's distracting. Like I can't.
I know in a good way. I mean, they're engaged. But I'm too. Area Q. What's NK?
I don't know what Area Q is.
Yeah, Tiffany. I want to show that because she clearly can't hear. Rodrigo, or I guess we can Google Area Q. It sounds something along the lines of like an Area 51 type of thing.
That's right. I don't know. It's probably long lost.
Did you see this, Tiffany?
Show me.
Rodrigo,
Area
my man.
Q.
Area Q.
I don't know what that is, but I will check it out.
Yeah, well, definitely. Anka, what's your take on DMT, other types of hallucinogens? Do you buy into those trips opening up to a portal or connecting with potential? I don't know.
That is a strange question coming from a person that admits to taking medication and detaching from their consciousness.
It's a question. It's just a question. But the truth is, here's the thing. I'm a Joe Rogan guy, and he talks DMT. He's tried it. He's done the trips, and whether this is not popular or going to get me in trouble, I've never done it. I don't want to try it. A very, very controlled situation because I want to see what happens. So answer my question instead of coming back with a question.
The spirit molecule, DMT. I have heard people seeing it's like a crystal chrysanthemum or a flower or something. They have shared experiences when taking that drug. I've never taken it. I can't give you any experience as far as that, but I would just recommend that people be careful. Like be around people that know what they're doing and are sober so they can help you if things do go wrong. Because I have gotten those phone calls at 2 a.m. where someone took mushrooms and went out to the desert and try and find their alien friends. I'm like, I don't know how to help you. Call 911.
Desert or dessert?
Desert.
Yeah.
Dessert.
Dessert.
Kevin has soft hands too. Okay. Good to know.
The fuck? Where'd that come from?
How did you know that?
Well,
Maria
I think we
Duff.
might have talked about it. Credit to the. This is one of those shows, Tiffany, that we could give our audience a quiz at the end of the show, and they'd ace it because
They would
paid
ace it.
attention.
No,
They're
shit.
engaged. I love it.
I know.
And they are
Oh, my
soft.
God.
Damn it. Because I'm in corporate America all my life. I work on a freaking keyboard. Manual labor. Ugh. I was like, no way. Yeah. So, yes, I think I did. Yeah, you're right. Sherry said I mentioned it last week. Okay. See, they do pay attention. So that's good.
Learning
Oh,
so
my
many
goodness.
new things.
This is probably not the same kind of interview you usually give, is it?
Well, we warned her
No.
it's not an interview. It's a
Yeah, I know.
conversation.
I know.
She's good.
Conversation.
I know.
Yeah.
It is.
And she's the one reading off the comments. We can't even get to the comments because she starts
just-
reading.
They're interesting. It's distracting.
Well, but I probably should have said this pre-show, but it's actually I think it's cool that you're reading the comments because
She's a woman. She's a multitasker.
well, yeah, and it's just conversation. So. Where are we at now?
Talked about drugs, soft hands, children.
Children. Ugh. How do you incorporate that? All right.
Candles.
Candles. I mean, we got all the food groups covered
Ghosts,
tonight.
butterflies, children with black eyes, ghosts.
We have gone
We hit all
everywhere.
the food groups. Yeah, that's pretty good.
You know, something you kind of, one of you alluded to earlier, and I think this is, and if you talked more about it during my internet breakdown, my apologies. But, you know, the whole, and goes back to like MUFON. Not that I'm insinuating anything, but, you know, from that whole investigation, you know, journalists and stuff, I have noticed right now that there is, you know, we kind of talked about how divided we are as a nation, but there's a divide in the whole ufology community right now. I think I personally, and this is me as a fan on the outside
Tiffany
looking
and I are
in.
making the same face.
Were you waiting for the punchline here? There's some jealousy in this ufology field. I mean, you know, the Lou Elizondos, the Jeremy Corbells, depending on who you talk to, man, they love them or hate them. And you know, it's something I saw recently. There's another guy that's been a guest on our show, Tiff, and I shared a YouTube thing where he kind of put someone on blast. What is y'all's take when it comes to the whole ufology field, where the new guys are kind of, you know, I guess in the spotlight right now? Like I said, Lou, Jeremy Corbell, they're the front and center. You know, since 2017, when those videos dropped from the New York Times, those guys have been the ones doing all the shows. And you've got people kind of blasting them. And one thing I've noticed with the ones that are blasting them is that they've been in ufology as an investigator for decades. Is that some jealousy going on there? What's your take on that?
It's a certain form of measuring as far as anatomy goes.
Mine is bigger than yours.
It's about who knows the most and who's been around the most and who's read the most books and who's written the most books. And I really am careful to stay out of it. I don't try to talk negatively of other colleagues or other people that are trying to find the answers. I'm appreciative that they're trying. Maybe they're doing it in a way that I don't agree with, but the only thing I will openly talk out against is hypnosis. I just think that it's dangerous. I have enough evidence of how it increases your suicidal ideations. I'm one of those investigators and researchers that does not encourage hypnosis. There's so many other tried and true psychiatric methods that we can try first before you just dive headfirst into hypnosis. So aside from me taking a crack at hypnosis every now and then, I'm on a pretty level playing field as long as people are nice to me. But yeah, Tiffany and I have both seen the divide. We've seen people arguing. How many people were just delighted that MUFON's head turned out to be some kind of creep? And I'm like, why would you be happy about that? It is very disgusting. And I'm sure she has those moments too, where she throws her hands up and she's like, F this, I'm done. I can't be on Facebook anymore right now.
I get it from, you know, the skeptics or, you know, non-believers, but they're to me, it's within. That just kind of blows my mind how I just think from within you've got, I don't know. They say they're exposing the frauds. I think some of it is a little bit of jealousy. Yeah. That, you know, these guys are doing, you know, done all their research, but they're not on, you know, Fox News or CNN, you know, in front of Tucker or Anderson Cooper talking, you know, UAP. It's the Elizondo.
Tucker is at least trying, I think.
No. That's not a shot at the news people. That's a shot at the you know, because again, you know, the same kind of people are on the media these
platform,
media
that big platform. Yeah.
You know, as an so
they take pot shots at me too. Today I got called the Queen of Cleavage, and that the only reason people listen to me is because I'm attractive. And I'm like, dude, I have big tits. Do you want me to put on my go to work tits and leave these at home? Like my professional speaker tits? Like
I can relate. Tiffany's like, I can relate.
they're always there, no matter what kind of shirt I wear. So it's like, you know, if that's true, if I'm only popular because I'm beautiful, time itself will take care of that, and I will no longer be popular. I'll be ugly just like everyone else someday, and old. But like, you know, I've cultivated other skills and my intelligence and things like that to make me, I don't know, relevant. Like, why would you pare it down to you have big tits and you should feel bad about it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, NK, that's a good way to put it, because as a young female who's been through 40 plus years, I do feel like I'm still being just valued for one aspect a lot, and nobody can appreciate the past Tiffany, the Tiffany that had a career, the Tiffany that has worked and done some, you know, awesome things. Not that I've done awesome things. I'm saying I've been able to do awesome things and be part of things that were really cool. I don't think that you can, it doesn't just bubble down to boobs and beauty. It really doesn't. And if that's all it is, then, and that's all you're looking for, move the fuck on.
Yeah, I had some choice words for them.
Because that's not how it should be. It shouldn't just bubble down to that. Beauty is wonderful, and trying to make yourself as attractive as you can should not be something that is a negative. You should be able to use what you have, and then also have brains to go along with it, and a history, and be able to show that, yes, I've been educated as well. I'm not trying to just be some little bimbo. It doesn't always boil down to just something as brazen and basic as that. It's just not. It shouldn't be. And if that's what you want, there's other people out there. You can go ahead
shitty playground level behavior from full-grown adults.
Delete.
Yeah.
Block, delete. I've started to learn how to do that very easily. Block, delete.
I'm assuming Sherry's talking about you two, not us three.
Soft hands.
Soft hands. Yeah, they're guilty as charged.
Look at this.
But
42 Ds. Wow, girl. You fall on your face. But even Sherry's got a high IQ. See?
There you go.
I think present company's smart too.
Thank you.
Trust me, Tiffany, no offense. If I thought if you were not smart, we would not be doing a show together.
Thank you. Yeah. I've learned a little lesson, and it's one that my mom told me from the beginning. She said, if you're going to be taking photographs, try to take it from the neck, shoulder up, and then then you don't have to worry so much. It's like, when I went to one of the conferences, I got to meet people in person for the first time, and it's amazing to be able to be with people, especially nowadays. These past freaking year and a half make me want to kill somebody, because I just want to grab and hug people. I'm a hugger, and I'm like scared to do that these days. But when I was there at this conference, I had people go, "Oh my God, you're petite," and I'm like, "Huh, petite? That's interesting the way you put it. Like you thought I was, 5'2", 300 pounds, or you're petite." But that's why, you just have to minimize the photograph, I guess, because there's so many perverts. How did we go down this rabbit hole? How did we get to this?
Well, that's actually why I have a shortened front name. I decided to only use my initials because my name is a feminine name. And Irina Scott said that even in the world of photography, not just UFOs, that if it's a woman photographer or a woman book writer, things like that, it will not sell as well. So I was like, well, I don't want everybody disregarding my research just because I'm a woman. So I'm just going to shorten the two initials of my front name, and I'll be NK. So you would have to do quite a bit of research, at least back then, to figure out that I was a female and what I looked like instead of a quick Google search.
Right. Yeah.
But it's Yeah, the UFO field is wonky, and essentially it's like the sexism of the 1950s workplace. So good times.
Hopefully, people like you can change that perspective.
What the hell is Edmund? What are you doing?
That's not me. That's Kevin.
This is.
I'm so
Look,
confused.
that's why his name is Edmund.
I thought that was like a code word for like, she's bombing. We gotta cut it. Edmund.
That will be the code word from now on. We'll use that.
Edmund.
What's your safe word? Edmund.
That will be her new safe word.
Well, I do have the whip. So I'm sorry, Edmund, if it's awkward for you, but that's my new safe word.
Yeah.
That's funny.
He's actually a good guy. Yeah, we have like alluded to there. He is from Transylvania.
Very cool.
Yeah.
I can
not count Edmund. There you go.
I can talk about a couple of my future projects if you want me to.
Absolutely. Let's hear it.
One of the more that was weird.
What?
I don't know.
Did you get a download?
No. I don't know if it was fuzz or if it was an orb. Something just like shot up in front of me.
Go back and see. Did you notice that too?
I didn't. I wasn't looking down.
I don't know. It was weird. But I actually started correspondence with death row and life sentence prisoners because of this UFO thing. If it's truly from the cradle to the grave, I think that your activity would continue despite whether you're in prison or not. So I sent out about 100 correspondence requests, and I'm going to do more. And I've actually started getting a couple letters back asking people if they were experiencers or if they had any near-death experiences or any life advice for PTSD. So I'm really looking forward to jumping into that. And especially doing the follow-up questions. I'm wondering, is this something that was so awful that like you went to prison on purpose because you thought that you could get away from it? Or is this like a multi-generational thing? Like, I'm really excited. And so many people have told me like, oh my God, that's weird. They're creeps. And I'm like, okay, it's still an untouched demographic out there. I don't know anyone else that's done this.
Yeah. And you've already received a few responses. Have they been positive or negative?
Yeah, they've been overwhelmingly positive.
Interesting.
So one person had a religious miracle, and then another person, they told me that they were going to write to me. They just wanted to make sure that I was like a real person first and not taking advantage of them, which I respect that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I talked to old people. I talked to dying people. I talked to people in prison. I talked to little kids. All of these demographics that UFO people like to ignore.
I mean, experiencers equal opportunity. I mean, it's like there's no prejudice there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Tiffany, when you were, I think you were away, I mentioned something about the generational thing, and I think, NK, correct me if I'm wrong, you have kind of talked about it a little bit while my internet was fucking around. Looking ahead, I mean, your daughter clearly is in both of you, this is a question for both of you. What's this vision that have they portrayed any kind of vision that they see down the road? Where I'm going with this is that this is some crazy times we're experiencing, and if someone could give us the heads up that like something's happening or something's coming, I'm all about that. Does your kids, either one of you, start talking about things they're seeing things
like a prophetic sense?
Yeah, that's probably a good way to put it. Yeah.
Okay.
Nothing past a few days or a week from them. They'll have a dream about something happening, and it usually happens pretty quickly. I don't know about long-term historic changing stuff. Not yet, anyway.
Okay. And dreams, to me, one of the great lines I heard about dreams are answers to questions we haven't asked yet. So,
yeah.
Tiff, your daughters, I know.
I not really, because I will say that, like NK said, they can. know what you're thinking or know some things that'll happen within the next few days. They sort of have a sense of what's happening. But beyond that, probably not. I mean, my kids are fairly fairly filtered. I mean, they sort of learn one specific thing. You know, they go to Catholic school, so they're focusing on maybe the history rather than the future. But things just are, yeah, not really. I don't see that they're having anything like total anxiety that there's going to be a massive hurricane and it's going to
Well,
blow them away. Nothing like that.
Well, what I'm getting at is that, you know, and I asked your spider senses, either both of you all. I mean, are they feeling, you know, that feeling they get?
I think that's what we've been talking about, is having some of that anxiety that's been becoming more and more overwhelming over the past, you know, few weeks for something building.
It's this big bubble, like you feel it pushing against you, and like it's going to burst, and it just keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And I don't know if it's good or not. I'm not going to go down that road, but it's definitely more than just me and her that are feeling it. People are just on edge. They're antsy. They're over emotional. They're over feeling things. And I don't know. I've had everything described to me as we're going to go into the age of the Aquarius. I thought that was cool. Another person said that we were going to be invaded by a foreign power. And I said, well, I'm glad I live in Texas. We'll give them a run for their money. Just a lot of things. Like they think it's like the Great Awakening. Either people think it's going to be freaking awesome. We have been waiting for this for centuries, or people tell me it's going to be awful. We're going to be living Mad Max-esque in the next 10 years. So I don't know.
I don't like that idea at all. It's one of the movies that really freaked me out when I was young.
Really?
Yeah, I didn't like that. And Waterworld really freaked me out to the point where I couldn't watch more than a few minutes.
Yeah, watching V for Vendetta recently with the new COVID aspect in the background, and that's how the crazy people got voted into power, is because of the sickness, and they were all scared. And I'm like, this is a very uncomfortable period of time.
You're absolutely right. So we like to play a game with our guest, and this is just
let me get this going. Yeah.
we have definitely learned a lot about Nikita NK Kranda, and we love that you are there to help with the experiencers to preserve their thoughts and their memories and their experiences. And I do hope that at some point we're able to read that, share that, and it be something that I can share with my daughters and we can share with our children as experiencers. I think that would be very important for them to know the rich culture and that it's part of our history. So I look forward to that. But we have a set of questions that Kevin really enjoys sharing. And you're not on a timer, but if you take too long, I will earn you.
Okay.
Just rapid fire kind of Q&A. But
good.
Before we go there, this is I got to share this, Rodrigo. How relevant is the ecological message with the experiencers?
Some of them it's very prevalent. Others, I don't get it as much. I feel like the people that contact Kathleen Mardine or Yvonne Smith or Deb
Hall.
Yeah. They really concentrate on,
I know who you're talking about. I don't think
the ecological, we need to save our planet and rescue our planet and everything like that. My specialty is trauma. So we talk about more of the survival aspects of these type of experiences. I don't know. I haven't had one yet where they're like, well, we really need to save the earth. Like, I agree with you. Okay.
All right. Rapid fire.
First
concert.
The Eagles.
Oh, that's a good one. Texting or talking?
Texting.
Would you rather be able to speak every language in the world or be able to talk to animals?
Animals.
Favorite holiday?
Halloween.
Scale of 1 to 10. How good of a driver are you? 10 being the best.
7.
She's the first one who was brutally honest. Everyone is 10. No one's a 10. All right. On a scale of 1 to 10, how good are you at keeping secrets?
10.
Give me a pet peeve.
People that don't wear deodorant.
Nice. That eat a lot of garlic and cumin.
You can be spiritual and wear deodorant. You can do both, I promise.
Or you could just bathe.
Yeah.
Some great sound bites here.
If you want something that's really just very healthy, just use some rock salt and dampen it.
Well, if you could travel back in time, what period would you go to?
I want to hang out with Nikola Tesla
Nah, that's a good one.
while he's building his Wardenclyffe Tower in Colorado.
There you go.
Last Halloween costume, since you're, that's your holiday.
I think I was a witch. Yeah.
Okay. Is double dipping at a party ever acceptable?
There's a lot of connotations to that. Wow. I'm going to say only with permission.
Speaking of, ask permission or beg for forgiveness?
Beg for forgiveness.
I like the way you think. This is a Tiffany question. In your heart of hearts, do snitches get stitches?
Yes.
Toilet paper, over or under?
Over.
Giving presents or getting presents?
I like giving presents.
Do you? Okay. Cake or pie?
Pie. Duh.
Give us a hidden talent.
My empathy.
I thought she was going to say something like being able to tie a cherry stem with their tongue.
I don't know if those are hidden talents.
It may not be. It might be something that you just do at every party.
To
Never know.
Knock an apple off your head with my
I
whip.
actually can't. I can take the whip and I can grab someone's forearm and pull them towards me like Catwoman, and it's badass.
Wow.
That's a visual.
That's a new one. Yeah.
That's what I'm going to
too.
sleep
Yeah.
with. That's the last thought I'm going to sleep with.
Yeah,
I didn't think
that's
it
a
was
good
real,
one.
but I did it.
Where is your happy place?
In nature. I go to a lot of state parks and I wander off amongst the trees and the rivers and I just relax. It's so nice.
Are you trying to be one of those 411 victims?
Okay, shut up. Don't talk about St. David that way, please.
Okay. Just stay on the path. How's that?
See, that's the thing. That's the curse of knowledge is you think that you know better and that it won't be you. But no, I always leave a note on my car and I tell people where I'm going and how long I'll be gone. And if they can't reach me, then to please call this sheriff's department. So I do. People do know when I'm gone and when I'm supposed to be back. At least they have a head start.
Good.
All right, that concludes my rapid fire. But staying with the whole missing 411 thing.
Okay.
Are those both of you? Are those of a paranormal?
Some of them.
Do you think that? Do you believe it?
Some of them.
Okay.
But his, I have all the books and I read them. His scale, like he never tells you, so you're free to make up your mind.
That's what I like.
Yeah, he's described everything from what I believe to be Bigfoot to the military taking people to some kind of demonic or spiritualistic force taking people. Like werewolf, like the one where the little girl had a grizzly bear come and eat her hat and tell her like, hey, would you like to come with me? I don't think that was a bear. But
Tiffany? Yeah, what say you, Tiffany?
I don't know.
You don't know as far as you don't know if they're paranormal or
No clue.
Really? Okay.
And if you ask him, all he'll say is the list of suspects is narrowing.
Yeah, I think that maybe there's I hate going down into a sick hole, but I think that there's a lot of missing people that just end up in the sex trade, human trafficking, or just people who really just want to vanish and end up maybe taking the suicide route out.
Well, let me challenge you on that.
But still, you would have to find the body at some point, I would think. So
yeah, but when
maybe,
it comes to that sex trafficking, I mean, you were talking some older people. Younger.
Well, he has weird cases too, Tiffany. Like I think some of the ones that he's talking about is where 2 and 3-year-old kids will be found
I like
on top
stories,
top of a mountain, like a 2,000-foot gain in elevation with no scratches on their body, and they're not wearing any shoes. You're like, what?
But see, married to a Bigfoot guy, a lot of times he's like Bigfoot carried him off, took care of him overnight, played with them for a while, and interacted with them, and then returned them to a safe position where they could be found. I believe that it's possible. There could be abductions going on. That's possible.
It's a fantastic journey to never sleeping again. I recommend his books.
Yeah.
I've watched his shows on Netflix, I think.
So the documentaries.
Documentaries, which are great. And you're right. He just shares the stories and lets you make your own conclusions. So, all right. Good stuff tonight. Tiffany, any questions, last questions for NK that I didn't ask, and as far as the rapid fire goes?
Oh gosh, I'd actually written some down because I was going to be prepared for you, and now I'm not.
That's okay.
3 wishes.
Oh, good one.
I have an answer for this, but you're just gonna laugh at me.
Hey, it's okay because this is not we don't judge.
And this is my honest to God answer. I've answered this to my therapist before too. I said, I want a simple life. I want a swift death and a vibrator that always works.
Nice. That's one I haven't heard on this show. That was a good one. There's your soundbite.
Oh yeah, nothing
the honesty
but sound
just
bites
came out. Yes.
Vibrators, tits, nude beach,
whips, soft hands. Candles.
Yeah, I've contributed some of this.
Yes, you have.
Oh, wow. What are some of the unanswered questions left for you? Okay, what's out there that's just still noodling in your head that you need to get an answer sooner than later?
I mean, there is always the question, which is one of the more painful ones that I always get, is why? Why is this happening to me? Fortunately, there are some ways that we can try and make it stop, but I can never really give people a why answer. It's more of what it is and what we're going to do about it. So if I had a why for everybody, that'd be fantastic. But I don't know why they're doing this. I don't know the intent or the intuitions or anything like that. I don't know.
If you could ask them a question, if you could ask, why are you doing this and why me? Do you think that you would get a response that you could appreciate, or do you think it would just be a random response of because?
I think I tried once because I was just so angry at everything that was happening. And essentially it came down to it was just you. Like, it's nothing personal. It's kind of what it sounded like. It's like, it's nothing personal. It's just you this time. I'm like, oh, thanks.
Yeah.
He's on his phone now.
He's checking other questions, I'm sure.
No, it's a child.
Are you setting up a date, Kevin?
No. Kid thing. Really.
Family. We're all dealing with kids tonight.
We're all dealing. Yeah. What's the did you go to one of the recent UFO I think you touched on that, but was that the one? That's not the Laughlin one, was it?
Yeah, I was there.
Yeah.
I also did the International Ufo Congress.
Throw that in our face.
I've been busy.
Is the steam, the vibe at these conferences nowadays? What is it like with just the fact that we are where we are with the report and Congress and
they're pretty disclosure driven. I would say 80% of the presentations are about disclosure and stuff to do around that.
Speaking of,
do I want disclosure or do I enjoy the mystery? I would be fine with disclosure if we had a plan. If we had a plan and if we had a way to manage all of the people and assist them and give them structure for what, all of this means. And hey, by the way, you were lied to for so many hundreds of years and things like that. If we had a plan, I'd be okay with it. If not, this is just Jurassic Park going bonkers. And at the same time, I do love the mystery. I love that not all of us can say for sure what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Who's controlling who here? This whole narrative when it comes to disclosure, is it us or is it the our friends outside of this world? My thinking is that from a technology aspect, from just they're probably far superior than us. Why it just seems like why if they are running the show, why are they? What's their timetable? But if we're running the show, what's keeping us from, making that announcement? Is it just our selfish reasons for, what it would do to our culture as far as like religion, the potential technology that's out there that can energy, right? It's game changer, from our side, but from their side, it's like, why are they if they are out there and they're superior than us, then why are they not dictating to us?
That is
they don't have to.
Yeah.
Because what?
Because they don't have to.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to explain to, like they said, are we the lab rats? You don't have to explain to the lab rat why you are making them participate in the experiment. They just have to do it. It's part of the,
so
their life.
You do buy into that narrative that we are part of an experiment. We're the animals in the zoo.
Maybe.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair.
Think about how short our human history is. Our history is very short. We have either a very short memory or there's something going on when you can only look back at about 4,000 years. That's really not very long in the course of life.
The big picture is that if you believe in science, that the planet is what 4+ billion years old.
Yeah.
So how many phases have we gone through? Could we seriously? And who's the frickin' say this? What we're doing right now could have been us doing this 10 billion years ago. It's just we've recycled, or something just said you fucked up. We're sending, yeah.
We're redoing this. Game over. Time to reset.
Reset
button.
And here we are going through the motions again.
Yeah, like that's what I'm saying. Like our history, our when we think about it, our history is short.
Yeah.
It's not well documented.
That's fair. And you think of just from a technology standpoint, business picked up like in what, the 40s? You think about
years.
Prior to 1947 or whatever you want to, I'm probably kind of alluding to Roswell, that whole thing, but not truly my intention. But prior to the 40s, what the fuck was going on here technology wise?
The Industrial Revolution. That's another one.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Why was there such a huge creation of like these steam engines and all of these automated systems where we had been content before to just make everything at home?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So that big cell phone boom, I think the Industrial Revolution was probably one of the first one of those.
Mm-hmm.
Just imagine, seriously, in what, 47, so what, 70 years or so, 70 plus years. What the hell are we going to be like in the next 70? I mean, at this rate, really, what are we going to be like and doing? What are our grandkids?
It depends on how many of us are going to survive this next stage.
That's a good point, yeah. Because we are, like I said earlier, we're so drifting off to an extreme that something is going to, either us or something else is going to bring us back to the center. And if it's something else, then it might be a do-over.
I think we're more than capable of ruining our own lives, just
That
humans
too.
in particular.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
All right. Great show tonight.
Where
Yeah.
can our guests and listeners, where can they follow you, check you out, see where
Besides
you're
the
going to be
beach,
next?
besides that beach.
Yeah, I'm not at the beach. I'm sorry. I have a Facebook, NK Kranda. You can send me a message there. You can send me a friend request. Also, preserveyourexperience@gmail.com. I don't have any other social media. I'm not really into Instagram or anything. So it's really just those two places.
Good for you. Really. Good for you.
It's probably safest to be
I
limited.
wouldn't be on social media if I didn't do do podcasts or have kids.
Yeah,
Just
I've
no.
gotten to the same point. Same point. All right. Well, thank you so much, NK, for coming on tonight and sharing with us all of your stories. And I am really looking forward to anything that you read. I know that you are a very thorough person, and we appreciate all of your due diligence and this plan to document. And I think that's what we need. So thank you very much for all your work.
Thank you for having me. And everybody, if you take away one thing from all this, please honor yourself because you survived. You wouldn't be here without that you. So you did whatever you had to do. You survived, you made it, and just honor yourself for that.
Amen.
Final words from NK Kranda. Okay,
And with
thanks
that,
again. Very nice to meet
wonderful
you.
evening. Thank you for having me.
All right, take care, man.
Bye.
That was fun. We just, whether it's a good thing or bad thing, it's who we are. We are an unscripted show.
Mhm.
It's not an interview, though sometimes we will ask questions to, for some flow, but tonight was we just went down several paths and it still felt right. Felt good. So and our friends hanging out with us, doing their thing. For the record, Ron, I will be dead.
Don't say that, Ron. Everybody's gonna live to be 150 from our generation. I guarantee it.
I don't know if you take the vaccine, do you live longer or are you going to live less?
Oh gosh, I don't know.
I shouldn't have went there.
You should
retract that, and we don't need to go there. Tiffany, we're kind of winding down, but we wanted to spend a few minutes pumping up something that we had. We're less than 4 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
We hit the 4-week window this past weekend.
Yeah.
Less than 4 weeks. Talk to me. Give everyone that 411 on what the hell we got planned.
So we've got Contact at the Compound coming up on October 9th. We'll be doing a live stream that evening. And we have Micah Hanks, Sierra Neblina, Brent Sipley, Terry Lovelace, Rebecca Gerasitano, and Jamin Olivencia. And we are going to have so much fun. We're going to have quite a few stories that you've never heard before, and that's what we really crave, is not just the one-on-one communication with our friends and the people that we've come across during our shows, but we will be able to sit, and we're going to do some things that are more along the lines of the CE5 movement. So trying to contact anybody that would listen in a good light. We're going to have to put some restrictions out there because we don't want the crazies coming in, but we're going to have a good time, and we're going to really we're going to be able to communicate in a way that is not I guess, minimized by time or over
Mhm.
the internet. This is going to be wonderful to be able to have these people close to us and just sort of share a little bit of that bond that we all love, the paranormal, the supernatural,
Right.
the cryptids. It's going to be wonderful.
Mm.
So I would love for everybody to sort of, schedule it in, and we will definitely keep updating you on what's happening, and hope that you all are able to listen and join us.
Yeah, we're still trying to figure out the timing of this, the live stream part.
Mhm,
We've thrown out that it's going to be a 2-hour live stream, but with
mhm,
everyone who's here, who will be with us, physically with us at
mhm,
the compound, at the Sipley compound, if you will, giving my man Brent some love there.
mhm.
Um, we could actually could be streaming for 3 or 4 hours, and we're gonna have some other people, like some of our friends, come and
Mhm,
hang out with us. And
mhm,
yeah, this is a Tiffany. Kudos to you. You've just you have really opened it up, took universal secrets to another level. This is something that we're going to be extremely proud to do and
mhm,
have a good time with some friends. And um yeah, this is a celebration of us, but it's a
mhm,
celebration of the conversations and
mhm,
the people that we talk to and
mhm.
experiences. So I'm really, I'm like, this is like Christmas, and really looking forward to this again, as an enthusiast, as a fan. Some of these people, to be rubbing shoulders with them,
Yes, it's
help
gonna be
those.
wonderful.
God,
So Rodrigo says, "I wanna hear from Sasquatch at the compound," and, that's
he's
that's
going
sort
to.
of funny because last year we did hear, what sounded like Bigfoot howls coming from the woods, and,
Mm,
everybody knows the story that Brent bought this property because there were 3 Bigfoot sightings within, like, a mile and a half to 2 miles of this property. And so these were by different people who had never met and who had reached out and reported this Bigfoot sighting. So what we have here is maybe part of what NK was describing is this multi experience and multi phenomenon right here, and hopefully with the kind of people that we are having at the compound, maybe it will draw more activity in. And this is sort of just like a hope that it'll draw the right attention,
mhm,
and maybe we'll have something to discuss besides past experience. Maybe we'll
mhm.
have something from Thursday and Friday night to talk about on the live broadcast.
Yeah,
So
it's a weekend event. We're only streaming on the Saturday night because we're going to be preoccupied the
we're
other night.
doing investigations.
Yeah,
Yes, we are going out.
yeah,
We're going out for a Bigfoot hike in a
yeah.
location that has had lots of activity. And then we're also going to have a little meet and greet down at our magic tree, which is a 500 to 600-year-old bur oak. And we hear a lot of giggling and girls' voices and
Children.
children's voices down at the magic tree. So, we'll be able to share some of that. Hopefully, we'll have some firsthand experiences and maybe be able to catch some audio or video. So
Mm,
that's the intent, and we want you there for the ride. We are going to share what we find.
yeah. If you're close by, people definitely friends of the show. If you are close by to us here in Louisville,
Let us know. Reach
we're
out
gonna,
to us.
yeah, and we're gonna bring it, what we can, as
Hmm.
far as people to come and hang with us. And if you
Hmm.
can't, the live stream will be there. And
Hmm.
again, Tiffany, you alluded to the fact this is as as an enthusiast. You, Terry Lovelace,
Sierra.
Sierra Neblina,
Mhm.
these experiencers. For me, if there's a time that something I experienced something,
It will probably be that
it
weekend.
could be this. And
Yeah. And we do have
getting-
and I know I've mentioned this about my CE5 group before in the past, that this is a group of girls who I've been in contact with since I got into the podcasting aspect of the paranormal stories, and sharing that with different shows from KGRA and then with Kevin through the years. We have a few people in this group, and obviously they live very close to us, who will be involved. And like I said, Rebecca Girasitano is she is a hypnotherapist. She is a past life regressionist. She has worked under Dolores Cannon and studied in those ways, along with Edgar Casey. And we will have that as a guidance. And then we have a few extra local experiencers coming to share, who are part of that group as well. So there will be a few different perspectives on what is happening, and we would love to get some of your questions, and we'll be able to share. I know I've got a long list from Yuffie already, who had some questions for Rebecca.
We would.
Yeah, and we'll definitely be able to get through some of those, and definitely delve in a little bit deeper.
Yeah. Again, streaming, we'll be streaming live on the 9th on our Facebook, YouTube channels, 2 to 4 hours. And this will be the one time, Tiffany, that it will be somewhat of a scripted / formatted night, because we have to. I mean,
there's so many people.
So many people. We want to do them right by having segments with them and their experiences, their expertise. And so yeah, we're working out these. And again, so excited. We're less than 4 weeks. I mean, we've been planning this for months, and it's getting close.
And we've gotten some swag people.
Do let's share that, Tiffany? Or
let's show. Yeah,
you can show it.
I don't have it.
Okay, where is it?
Oh, right here.
There, go. Do it. There it is. Yeah.
There we go. The t-shirt, Universal Secrets. And then we also got little blankets, little throw blankets for everybody. With our little 2 aliens. Thank you, Kevin. Do you see the little 2 aliens? Symbolizing second year.
Second year.
Yep.
And we'll be putting definitely the shirts out there so people can grab theirs in the near future. So stay tuned for that. Tiffany, a great show. NK was great. First time I had ever talked to her, conversation. So good stuff. Next week, what is it? September 21st. That is Jason Mcclellan.
Oh, yes, I
Jason,
do.
Part of, he's a podcaster. He's a UFO journalist. Looking forward to him coming on. He's kind of, I don't think he's doing shows right now, but he's definitely a great conversation. It will be a great conversation. Sherry, I give a shout out to Sherry Trimble. She several times tonight reminded people to give us a thumbs up. The liking the shows, giving us a thumbs up or a thumbs down, because if it's bad, then do what you got to do. Because that does it tells us. I mean, I don't have no issues with that. If it's bad tonight, my internet. I would have that totally annoyed me how my internet wasn't.
It happens with live broadcasts. I mean, it is what it is.
It
You
is,
can't do anything about it.
So, for those who haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel, subscribe to or like our Facebook page. In the show description is our link tree, Universal Secrets, where you can check out all of our social media, and there is the audio portion of the show that's on all of the podcast platforms that you can listen to at your leisure. Tiffany, always good to hang out with you. Date night with Tiffany per Brennan. Shout out to our audience. They were very engaged tonight.
Absolutely.
We love you guys. You guys are the best. You keep us inspired to do this. Final word, Tiffany. Take us home.
We will see you next Tuesday night. Same bat channel, same bad time. All I can say is enjoy your evening. Try not to let the negativity that has been pounding away at some of us experiencers and then the world around you right now. Turn the TV off, turn the news off occasionally, because all it's doing is bringing us down with the negativity.
Compassion.
But
Show some compassion. Tell
Yep.
someone you love them, or at
Yep.
least because we're all in this together. We are. So,
Yep.
good stuff, Tiffany. Always good to hang with you. Next week, same bat time, bat channel. Universal Secrets signing off. Peace out. This has been Universal Secrets.